Let's do it. Yeehaw. Middle of March.
Yeah, almost.
Hi. Haven't seen you in a while.
Feels like we are definitely ships passing in the night.
Yeah, I know. Between you being gone to Disney, me being gone to lacrosse games, it's been... Yeah, I mean, it's literally sit down and podcast, and it's the only time we've had a chance to see you next week.
Yeah.
So, that's life.
Yes,
Life
it's
is.
crazy.
Right. Yeah. So, all right, let's get it started, because we got a special guest today. It's the Sam
and M
podcast, episode 101 at samwalkerobxnews.com, on your favorite podcast app, YouTube, Facebook. Give us those likes, shares, follow, subscribes, hit the bells, the 5 stars. Brought to you by Hatteras Island author Jan Dawson, Miles Carpet Cleaning, Sanctuary Vineyards, and Caribbean Pools and Spas. Shout-outs?
Yes, we have some shout-outs from last week. Last week we had Miles Carpet Cleaning said nice. Or love it, excuse me. Donna Robertson said thanks for the tickets to the event at Sanctuary Vineyards. Was a packed out. Sarah Harvey gave us a big heart. That's going through the little hands. Manny Runs Disney said nice. Gail Marshbanks, who is Kelsey's mom, she said love you guys. And Stephanie Sanderlin, congratulations, great job you two. So anyway, we had a lot of shares last week too. I think we had good
yeah, we definitely got good views. Was that on my page or was that on the pro page?
That was off of that page.
That's the personal. Okay, cool. All right, yeah, because I haven't had a chance to look on. I didn't even think to look on my page because I did something a little different this past week where I shared it, uploaded it like I normally do on Facebook on my page, and then also put it on the. Okay, I'm backtrack. I put it on the Sam Walker OBX page normally. And then I uploaded it on the personal page just to see what would happen. So I think we're going to start doing that a little bit more. I was trying to keep it in one place, and the way now they're working with Reels is so different because, I mean, that's all geared towards that's trying to compete with TikTok. So, short, quick clips and using it for long form. Like, they're deleting the live stuff now, which is really getting frustrating, I think. But they are deleting the live stuff. Anyway, see, that's the oddest thing. Oh, all right. I have to figure it out later. But there's some things going on that are a little different. So, anyway, y'all, the normal delivery methods, that's how it is. Anyway, Friday show, by the way, because special guest coming up.
Yes.
The one and only Jan Dawson is going to join us in a few minutes. But catch up with us. You were talking before we did the show, before we started. There's the ADD HD kicking in. right over the head. But continuing to, it is kind of nice, I guess, to see on socials and more of like, oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's us. And, realize how many of us there are. Yeah, I think it's all of us in Gen X, basically. Well,
actually, no, I was going to kind of talk about that.
Okay, go ahead.
One of the things, do you want to go into that? So
yeah, let's do that, and then no, let's do that, and then do Jan.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, it's not just ADD. It's so when you don't even know what's coming. So when we started this because we felt like we had things to help people feel like they could connect with us, whether it be, hey, they like Disney, we like to go to Disney, or hey, they lost weight, we want to lose weight. Which I have had some people reach out to me, a couple listeners reach out to me recently about some compounding tirzepatide and some things like that. I do want to say ADD. I do want to say if anyone is interested in a GLP-1, at this moment in time, I know a lot of insurance companies more are paying for it, but lots still aren't. You can go to 2 different places that might help you. Costco. Right. You can get Wegovy, and it's like shipped direct from company. So instead of like how you get it at the pharmacy right now, where it's in an auto injector pen, you will get 4 vials. You draw it up into an insulin syringe and give it to yourself.
Nope.
But the starting dose is, I think, $2.99 for a month, and then $3.99 for the higher doses a month. And then Walmart made the deal with Lilly, and we have Zepbound, the same thing. So there are some alternatives out there for you. I just want to throw that out there. Now, it is not in an auto injectable pen. However, I do believe Amazon has a couple of devices you can buy where you would draw it up in the insulin syringe, and then put the syringe into this thing. It like auto injects for you. So I do think if you are scared about giving yourself, about giving that, there may be a way around it, or you can just get your spouse to give you a shot.
Well, since we've gone down this rabbit hole,
Okay.
All this week there have been spots running like crazy for Wegovy tablet form now being available,
which has always been available.
Okay.
Under Rybelsus. So you have Ozempic and Wegovy are the exact same medication, just put into two different things.
Right.
Rybelsus and the Wegovy tablets or capsules are the same thing. They're just put into two different things. They're just manufactured differently.
Okay.
Rybelsus is approved for diabetes, and Wegovy is approved for weight loss.
Okay.
Now, you can get those tablets or capsules. Your doctor can write you a prescription, and there are so many coupons right now. You can get it, I think it's about $160 a month.
Yeah, that's one of the things they put in the spot was the fact that you can get those rebates.
Yeah.
Now, it's a once a day.
Every day.
Now, what's been the experience that you've heard as far as the difference between doing the once a week injection and doing the pill?
The pill from the Rybelsus does not do as well. So I can only extrapolate that it's going to be the same thing with Wegovy. You do not have as good a weight loss with the pill as you do with the injection. I haven't really read much. I've read a few, I haven't gone deep into the studies, so I do not want to misrepresent that. All I have read is the, hey, this is what the study is, this is what the finding was, and kind of like a quick thing. So let's just be real. Rybelsus was out before the injection was, or about the same time. If it really worked that well, I would be dispensing it all the time, and I'm not.
Okay.
So I'm not discouraging people. If you haven't tried anything and that's what you can get and that's what you can afford, I would definitely get the Wegovy capsules. I mean, I would definitely go that route and try it. I don't know that it works as well, though.
Okay, and it's interesting that I bring it up because I have a feeling that's going to be one of the main commercials they're running for the next 3 weeks during the NCAA tournament. Because like UNC is who makes Ozempic?
I want to say it's not GlaxoSmithKline anymore. It's
what are they named? What are they called? When they're right here in North Carolina.
I know it was Glaxo,
but they got their logo on the court.
It's not Pfizer. It's
they got their logo on the court at the Smith Center. Well, it seems like every other commercial on the radio network right now is an Ozempic spot. No, who is it?
I know. I was gonna, but
I'm gonna have to. Oh,
I got it right here.
Yeah. Novo Nordisk.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it used to be they combined.
Right.
It used to be.
Yeah, but Novo Nordisk's logo is on the Smith Center court.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like
crazy.
That is crazy.
Now I have heard people have a little bit more. 2 people that I know have been on both, and the capsules made them more upset stomach and more
of the side effects. Okay.
But that was for them. I cannot say that's for everybody.
Right. Exactly.
But I just think if you can get it. So it was a shout out that I didn't give earlier, but someone had reached out to me, and I had someone else reach out to me too. So anyway, but those compounds are still out there. Some people, someone I talked to yesterday, the compound that she went to, they finally added the B12 and the injections into her injection. So she's feeling more energy now. So I would suggest, I'm the one who gives advice, but never takes her own advice. I think it's very important that you do get on a B complex, keep your iron checked, those type of things.
Yeah, you should, shouldn't you?
Those are all important things when you're on these. Any kind of weight loss, really, or any kind. Even if you're not doing weight loss, I mean, those are all good things to do. But as my hair is so thinning, and I've been really struggling with my hair, I need to do some vitamins and stuff, and my energy. I can always tell when I do my iron tablets. But anyway.
Well, let's just continue down this path. We'll get to the ADD part because, hey, there you go. This is the show. Is where I'm at right now is a great example of, I think, of not only does the medication do what it does, but behavioral changes, but also what you're eating and how much. And, we talk about how it depresses or suppresses appetite, slows digestion so you don't feel as hungry and all that stuff. But what you're consuming really matters. And this winter and even this spring, I'm not where I want to be / need to be because I've put back on, where 2 years ago, January, into December, I was 189. But now I'm hovering back above 200. But at the same time, you talked about this, that your body finds a maintain point. So the combination of the maintain point, which I think really for me is probably right around 195 to 200 is where it was. Peak summer, pools 5 days a week, limiting calorie intake, limiting sugar intake, stop the Coke. Because that was one thing that I did right when I started this and did very well, I think, for the first year plus, was eliminating soft drinks.
Yes.
And
specifically Coca-Cola.
Yeah, specifically Coca-Cola. Specifically Cherry Coke. But then finding a way, okay, with the upset stomach, with the hangover feeling, I had worked on, I was like, I drink ginger ale because like you, the fizz, there's something about it. You went away from Diet Coke. You were off Diet Coke after you had.
For years and years.
For years because after you had surgery, because you could not consume carbonated beverages.
Because the bubbles will stretch out after I had that gastric sleeve and it made it, and the bubbles, it will cause that expansion.
Right.
And so you're trying to keep it as small as you can.
Yeah. So I eliminated that when I started this, knowing that I was at a point where I was drinking a 2 liter a day. And, doing what I do for the majority of the day, which is what you see right here. This is where I'm at for 8 to 12 hours a day, during the winter. And that's where I've been this past winter. And the combination of that, the cold weather. Yep, I did a marathon. I did my first marathon. I did, the dopey and did essentially 0 training for it.
Well, you did get up to 19 miles. No, 17.
Yeah, but
you didn't.
I wasn't doing what I had been doing, which was the 3 miles a day. Minimum 3 miles a day, or at least every other day. The weather just sucked this year to be able to do it, and I'm not running in the cold. Yesterday, I did 2 lacrosse games. It started at 75 degrees, and by the time we got to halftime, it had dropped to 45. And it's blowing 25 miles an hour off the Chesapeake Bay. And then the second game, it starts raining and sleet and the whole 9 yards. I'm not running in that if I don't have to. If I'm getting paid to run for it, I will. I will run in it all day as long as you got me a paycheck. But what I'm trying to get to is that I'm at a point where I'm not happy with how I look and how I feel. Now, yesterday was probably the first day where I really did not feel, and that was doing a college doubleheader as opposed to doing a high school or something like that. It's a different level of running. It's also you push yourself at a different, because, it's like in Monsters, Inc. Always watching was Wazowski, always watching. Someone's always watching. We know that. That's one thing that is beat into our heads.
About?
when you're officiating college lacrosse, someone is always
where's this going with the
someone's
weight thing?
always watching and seeing that you're getting to your spots where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there. And your mechanics, it's not just about getting calls right and right and wrong. It's about making sure that you're doing everything you're supposed to do and getting to the spots on the field you have to get to. And early on, I've been pushing myself in the college games, and I've had some high school games. I've got a middle school game today. That's going to be doing this high school games. I'll admit I've gone on cruise control because I've been saving myself because I did not feel I was at a spot last week, and it didn't help. I tweaked my calf. I mean, I did tweak my calf at the beginning of a game, and that slowed me down. But what I'm trying to get to.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to give you eye contact. Okay.
I'm concerned that I have gotten some bad behaviors food wise, whereas I used to not stop and get food on the way home from a game, and I'm back into that. And then the choices I made, I'm trying to at least stick to the choice. I'm trying to stick to just a protein, whether it's chicken, a thing of chicken wings on the way home, but then it's, there's other stuff, and grabbing things and drinking Cokes, and not just sticking to the water, and not just sticking to the non high whatever fructose corn syrup drinks. Right. So that's where I'm at right now with that. I felt like there's, we talked about the weight loss drugs, and again, it's a tool. It's not just, that's been my experience, our experience. It's a tool. It's not the solution. It's not the end all be all. You got to do that and change behaviors and stick to change behaviors. And that's hard because of the ADD.
Well, but I think it's also hard just because of our lifestyle.
Right.
We are constantly running, and the idea, like last night, I had all good intentions of cooking a nice dinner, like vegetables, like the whole. And by the time you got home and you had to soak and get warm and all that stuff, it was like 7:15, and I had kept saying, we don't have to cook tonight. Let's not cook tonight. And you're like, no, we'll do it. And I was like, no. And then, so I ended up making a sandwich for me and Mom, and you had olives and pasta salad. Like, I think the problem is, and we're going to really have to sit down and figure this out. And we did the HelloFresh, and we go back and forth with that, but that almost gets overwhelming too. Like, we need to figure out realistically, with the three of us, one meal can last us 2 to 3 days. Right. And figuring out, okay, we just need to do some meal prep and all, and doing, like, in your car, having the snacks that are going to be good for you.
Well, yeah, I'll give you a great example of that is that during the gymnastics meet last week, we constantly have candy brought to us on our table. And whether it's mints or it's chocolate, and it's so easy to just grab that and go when you're sitting there for 2 hours at a time and you can't get up. Now I can, but I kept saying, I really just want something that's a salty snack. I really just need some nuts. And there was only one time where we had that available. We had a cheese tray and all that stuff from Taste. And I loaded up on it, but it was just macadamia. I forget what it was, nuts it was. But I loaded up on that, nuts and fruit. And it's like I told myself, you've got to go from the rest of the season, make sure you've got a bag of mixed nuts. And I found some. I do like this Cape Cod mix from Whole Foods I found, which is, I think it's almonds. Anyway, it's nuts, but it has cranberries in it, dried cranberries. But it's like, get away from the trail mix. It doesn't, stay away from the chocolate. Get out of that. I want the pistachio. I want a nut mix. So it's like I've told myself next month when I have 4 days at regionals, I am going to have the biggest bag of that sitting there. But
that could be bad too. Just to be clear.
I know.
It's all about moderation.
Right. Well, that's what I'm trying. I was going to say that is I've got to be careful with how much I consume, even though the nuts, to me, it's protein rather than wasted, it's then useless sugar.
And to pivot it a little bit, some new studies are coming out of Europe that have looked at the people who have stopped taking the GLP-1s and following and they're able to it's a pretty, they're saying that this study is pretty cool because it's actually graphing very well, but what you gain back and the time and it's pretty much, the graph is the people, it's all about the same, I guess. But I don't know if it was 6 months out or a year out. I feel like it was a year out, but don't quote me. 75% of weight gain back.
Yeah, and that's the scary part.
Well, but here's my soapbox that I'm going to jump on for a minute. So just don't interrupt me. So you found something that is working on a person's body. It is chemically changing. And to me, that is proving it's chemically changing how your body reacts to food, triggers to food, digestion of food, making all these things. It's chemically helping you. And it's working. So obviously you still need to do the exercise, the what you eat, watching that stuff, but it is a tool. And it's working, and it is chemically blocking chemicals and all that good stuff. Why would we stop it? Why people are insistent that, one, if you take these drugs, you're taking the easy way out. Two, why stop it? Why not get to the lowest dose? If someone is depressed, they don't have enough serotonin in their body. We give them serotonin reuptake inhibitors like a Zoloft, a Prozac, a Celexa, a Lexapro. There's tons of them that block your body from taking up that serotonin, so you still have the serotonin in you. We get you into therapy. We do things that help you. We do not get you off of that medication. Now, sometimes people go off of it. I'm not saying that everyone's on it. Some people take it situationally. But for the most part, people are on that, and we get them to the lowest dose. Sometimes you're at a higher dose, and then you go to a lower dose. Right. People with diabetes, people with, sometimes your doses are higher at points when we have to get you're in a crisis mode or whatever, but then we get you to a maintenance dose that is good. And sometimes you come off of it. But what I do not understand, and I just will always be an advocate for, stop treating obesity like it is someone being lazy. Stop treating obesity like if you take a medication, you're cheating. Obesity is a medical condition that has multiple layers like a lot of other conditions do. And so stop. Why we want to force it that, you've been on it, now let's go off of it. If you can go off of it and maintain your weight or gain weight and be happy or feel healthy or be healthy, that is fine. But there is absolutely nothing wrong with continuing on what's working for you. I will stand behind that forever. Granted, we don't have all the studies. I mean, I told V when I saw her 2 years ago, she said, well, what about going off? I said, I have no intention. And I said, I realize the studies aren't out there, but if you said to me, Emily, we're looking at studies and it's saying that you might get breast cancer from this. The way I feel now in my body means way more to me. I'm not saying I want, but what I'm saying is it's a risk I'm willing to take. Yeah. Because the way I feel now versus how I felt the rest of my life, physically, emotionally, everything connected to my weight, I'm just not willing to go back there. Right. And I don't think we should be making people feel bad for that. Just a side note. Okay. All right. So anyway, that's that topic. All right. We've taken 23 and we got Jan Dawson coming up here. Do we want to continue down where we originally planned to go? Well, do you want me to or do you not want me to? No, I mean, I was asking you. What do you think? Well, what I was trying to say is, before you took me down this, was when we started this podcast, we were wanted to be very real. And we felt like other people out there, depending on what the topic might be, they may feel the same way we do. And so I've really been thinking this a lot. In our house, we talk about it now more. Amongst some of my friends, I talk about it. But last night, I'm in this Stitch Zoom, and then there's like 53 people in that group, and then there's a smaller group of us, about 25 of us. And someone just kind of mentioned brain fog or whatever. Yeah. And my God, all of us are about the same age, and a couple of the ladies are in their late 50s, early 60s, but most of us are in the same age. So I'd say 45 to 53, 54, whatever. I was like, wow. So my point is, what I'm about to talk about is taboo. It's not something that we really talk about in the world today. It's not appropriate, but I'm kind of tired of that. So we won't talk about it a whole lot, but we can just put it out there and we can come back to it. So I think I am entering the perimenopause phase of life. Right. That's just where I am. And I have the night sweats. I can't sleep. I wake up at a certain time every night, almost in a panic. It takes me forever to go back to sleep. I have serious brain fog, which really drives me absolutely insane, because it's like, I used to be able to just schedules I could keep all in my head. Everything I could keep in my head. And now for 3 days now, I've been trying to recall a word that was said to me on Tuesday, and I still can't recall the word. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Please.
Like the brain fog is really, really out there. It is the irritability or of how I'm fresh, like on the inside of myself. Like I think I'm pretty good. My whole life, I guess, I've learned how to portray something differently than what my insides are feeling. I mean, I think we all do that. I'm not just saying me, but on the inside, I'm just like, you could say good morning to me and I'm like, I want to snap your head out. Like the internal like feelings that I have. And anyway, so we kind of in my one chat got to talking about this brain fog thing, and then everyone was like, no, one girl legit was at the doctor. She's like, thought she was having a stroke because she's like, I couldn't remember. I was telling my brain turn left, but my brain wouldn't turn left. Like she was driving. She thought she was having a stroke. She's like, I couldn't get anything out, and went to the doctor, ran all kinds of tests. And they're like, no, it looks like after doing your hormone tests, you're just like probably premenopausal or in perimenopause. Like it legit is. I didn't realize how much this brain fog thing was. Mm-hmm. And yet again, we have to still function. We have to be good members of society. We have to do all those good things, but it's really starting to drive me nuts. It is really starting to drive me, like, not nuts in the sense of like, I'm going to go off the deep end, but nuts in the sense that it's like, oh, for a couple years, this has probably been happening. And I've just been thinking there's something wrong with me, like as a person, like that I'm just, like, I don't know. I don't even know, but it is real. And if anyone else lives out there having any of these things, I feel you. Anything you may have to throw at me or any ideas, I'll take.
And it's been totally unfair, the fact that we've got the Pfizer riser and all that stuff. And none of the research on that part and libido and all that stuff. Oh, guys, we get guys.
Yeah, well, that's not even.
That's a totally different topic, but it's not. It's related. It's related if you think about it.
I know, but that's. I joke about that.
Another focus on the fact that we've done such a bad job on women's health. So,
yes, and there is hormone replacement therapy, and I probably am going to start looking into it. I am a pharmacist who does not like to take drugs. The reason that the shots have worked well for me is it's a once a week thing.
Right.
I don't have to do it every day. That's my problem. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. There's some patches that are twice a week or whatever. Maybe I'll talk to the doctor about that. I have an appointment coming up. But the other thing that I have done that I think it's important to just put it out there and say, I've always been a big proponent of mental health and not thinking that we take care of people, the taboo on the mental health issues. And we all have mental health issues. We all have relationship issues, and not like the point that we're like going through a divorce or anything, but there's just family relationship, work relationship, all these different things. You add on this. So I have started therapy. I did do grief therapy for Jonathan, the passing of Jonathan, but I have never done therapy. I tried it like for one session, was like, I just can't unload, but I've given it another shot. And, I have found like Walmart has an online thing, and you do Zoom. So it's not like I don't see the person. So I'm hoping that maybe that will help me, one, kind of navigate through this, navigate some things of my past and how I handle issues, and
how you deal with my weirdness.
Just it's not all about you, Sam Walker. I didn't
say that. I was just saying how you deal with my weirdness. Jeez.
That's the least of my worries.
Podcast, by the way.
No, I just today was like, you know what? I feel like when this morning, when the group chat was going off about the brain fog, and a lot of them have ADD and the medication and doing and taking it and the perimenopause, like it all just intertwined. And I was like, I'm literally talking to 20 women right now, all in the same boat. And here I have this platform, and it may be a small platform. We may only have one person listening. We may have, who knows who's listening today, but you're not alone. I'm not alone. And truly there are things out there. I think it just needs to be talked out more. There's medications, there's therapies, there's support groups, there's all different kinds of things. And I just think instead of making it so hush hush, like we just need to talk about it. Yeah. So there we go. That's what I want to talk about.
All right. So, well, what we're going to talk about next here on the Sam
and M
podcast is the one and only Hatteras Island author, Jan Dawson. She joins us right after this. Ready to dive into something new? Caribbean Pools and Spas, the official pool and spa service company of the Sam and M podcast, is now hiring service professionals for this season and beyond. Caribbean Pools and Spas is looking for dedicated individuals who enjoy being outdoors and want to create unforgettable experiences for our customers. With outstanding pay, instant incentives, flexible weekly schedules, hands-on training, and full support from the great Caribbean Pools and Spas management team that'll back you up. Routes are available right now from Corolla to South Nags Head and everywhere in between. Call today, 252-480-2900. That's 252-480-2900. Or visit CaribbeanOBX.com. Whether you're an experienced pro or just starting out, Caribbean is the best pool and spa service company to work for on the Outer Banks. I should know. I work for them too and love it. Join our team and make a splash with the official pool and spa service company of the Sam and M podcast, Caribbean Pools and Spas. And joining us now on the Sam
and M
podcast is our great friend Jan Dawson from down Hatteras Island, who has become a very acclaimed, not only local author, but I would say statewide and nationwide and worldwide world traveler that she is. She joins us now to talk about her brand new offering. And Jan, thanks for joining us.
Thank you again so much for having me. Always look forward to chatting with you guys because it's just so relaxed and so fun.
That's what we try to do. That's what we try to be. Well, for our new listeners, folks that we haven't had you on before, tell us all about yourself.
Well, I live in Buxton, which is on Hatteras Island. And for folks who don't know all the islands, we're at the point where you hear about Cape Point or Cape Hatteras, the lighthouse that has the diagonal stripes. That's usually where everybody says, oh, I know where that is. So if people know Nags Head, we're about an hour south of there. Been coming to the Outer Banks since 1964 when I was a little girl. My parents decided to vacation here. We lived in the Pittsburgh area. Came down once and then never stopped coming down. And ultimately, my parents retired here. And then I moved here. My father passed away in 2011. Not long after that, my mom's situation started to deteriorate. I moved here permanently in 2015. So I've been here as a resident 11 years now. I joined my husband in owning the Cape Hatteras Motel for the last 8 years that he had it. He had had it for 51 years at that point. And we've since sold it and decided to retire. And then I started writing books. So all that free time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We won't even get into the whole, well, you kind of picked a good time to get this now today on the show because we could spend the whole show just about that.
Just talking about that.
But
read storm season and that'll bring you up to date, right?
There you go. Exactly. And that's where I wanted to go next because you have become a rather well-known author of, first off, novels. And you're going in a new direction now with that. So tell everyone, of course, what the inspiration for the trilogy, the Hatteras Island trilogy that we've talked so much about here on the show.
Well, the first book came about by accident. I was never an intentional writer, although my whole life writing has been a part of my career in one way or the other. And I was even a television journalist, so I had that background, but never had written fiction. And I was waiting for a knee replacement. Some people have heard this story, and I couldn't sleep at night because I had a lot of anxiety, which I think is normal when you have a joint replacement. Yes. And I thought, well, I need to sleep. I know sleep is good for me before the surgery. It'll help with the healing. I got to get a good night's sleep here. So I started coming up with an idea for a story. I can't really tell you where this specific idea came from. It just came to me. The names came to me, and it started to develop more and more until, as I was telling my husband each morning, that I wrote another chapter during the night. After the surgery was over and I was into recovery, he said, you really need to write this down. So I did. And I thought I would take it up to Staples and run off a few copies and share it with friends. But another friend said that she had a friend who actually worked with authors who want to self-publish. She knew how to format. She has the software to format books. She got me in touch with an editor. She also designed my covers. Her name is Kim Perry. Hats off to her because she's over these years done a phenomenal job and helped me immensely. But so then that was storm season. And while storm season was off and running, I got the idea for Hooked on You, and that was to be a little bit more of a rom-com. All my books are sweet romances, and they all have undercurrents, and we've talked about those before, kind of the story behind the story. But
Mhm.
in Hooked on You, I wanted it to be kind of funny, where people would laugh a little bit, and but I wanted to bring the characters from Storm Season in the background, and I did. And what I found out was after people read the first two books, they came around to me on social media or if I saw them at a book signing, and they said, you need to tie up some loose ends from that first book. And so what I started with just one book and then two became a trilogy, and that was Tangled Lines, which really wrapped up that story. So those characters got really quiet in my head. I didn't hear from them anymore, so I assumed they were happy with what I had done. But then I had another group of characters invade my thinking space and want to have me write the fourth book, which is separate from the trilogy. As I say, it's new characters, a new storyline, a new love, and that's the newest book that just has come out. It's called Building a Little Love.
Good.
And,
Good.
yeah, and it takes place in Hatteras.
Hatteras. It takes place in Hatteras. A little bit of the backstory. We have a young woman who is engaged. She is an orthopedic surgeon in Greenville
Mhm.
with the hospital system there, and her fiance is a professor there. She has inherited some property from her grandmother who passed away. Unbeknownst, nobody even knew she had this property, but Lindsay inherits. And she, because her father has been in the contractor's business and she's worked kind of side by side with him her whole life, it's probably why she got into orthopedics. You know, a little hammer here, a little nail there, a little screw here, and you're all good to
Right.
go. She decides that she wants to build a house on that lot. Well, she has an across the way neighbor who thought that all of the land on his street was tied up in another estate. He had no idea there was a separate parcel that was independent and was sold. He himself was not a native. He was not born on Hatteras Island, but he does not take too kindly to someone invading his space.
Mm.
Which brings us to the whole topic, which is the undercurrent in this book about the roles and attitudes and what it means to be a native, to be born in a place, what it means to move to a place. And there are all sorts of interesting names for those people. Incomers, I found out in Cape Cod, they're called wash-ashores. In Ireland, they're called blow-ins.
Oh.
People who decide that they like a place and move there.
And we call them dingbatters down there,
Well,
right?
and then you have your people who have second homes here.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And then you have the group that I tend to call visitors. Some people call tourists. And of course, we all know what the nasty name for them is.
Mhm.
And Lindsay encounters all of this, and it makes her think about whether how she's going to fit in. And is she going to take on, one of the negative characters or qualities of any of these roles, and it's causing her across the street neighbor, Emmett, to rethink how he feels about things and what role he's playing in all of this. Meanwhile, she's got the fiance back in Greenville. And the other undercurrent of the story is can you want something so badly that you really believe in, you really love? I don't care if that's a project or a place or anything. Can you make someone else love what you love if they don't really love it, if it's not really them? And so this plays out through the whole book. I don't want to say any more than that, except that it does have what we call in the romance genre, I have found out, an HEA, which is a happily ever after. So
Uh,
you don't have to worry about things all going to, hell in a handbasket. It's
Mhm.
it's all it's all good at the end, but it has a very surprising ending. So
Oh, I can't wait to read it. I enjoyed all three books. I really did. And I read two. Did I read two and listen to one maybe?
I think so. Yeah.
I did one on I enjoyed every last one. I was very caught up in the stories, the people. And I think when you for me, And when I read book, I've always been an avid reader. Books take you to a whole nother place, right?
Mhm.
And so I do not, and don't come at me, people. I can't do like the dragons and the fantasy, but like I can't do those books. I have tried my book club, we've done it, but I can't do them because I think when I read a book, I picture when you were talking about going to bed at night and how this came, like that's when I go to bed at night and I can't sleep. I actually run through stories or make things up in my head like that. But it's all places or things or people I've seen. So what
Mhm.
I was trying to get to with your books, I loved because I really could visualize the places. I could visualize in my head the different characters I had, people I knew that I attached their bodies to those.
Mhm.
Like it very much spoke to me and in that way. And as a matter of fact, I really wanted us to go and we didn't get to, but because of your book, I was like, growing up, people talked about Massachusetts. Some of the families would go
Ah,
there, and I was like, I really wanted to go to Woods Hole. Like I wanted to see it in my head. I have a vision in my head, but I wanted to see how close it was. And you did a really good job of like in those books making me feel connected to those spaces. And I enjoyed them. I mean, they were like, I think it's a very good way to say they're a good summer read. They're a good and sit in front of the fireplace and read. Like they're just a good book that you got into. And I really didn't, the one I didn't put down, I read it in one day. Like I just was like, oh, let me, it was, I don't know. I have enjoyed every last one. And I have several friends who, because of seeing it on the podcast or hearing me talk about it, they're like, oh, and they've read it. And one girl listened. She said, I just did it in the car more and she really enjoyed. So anyway,
couple of interesting
kudos.
things that you bring up there for people who haven't seen before, new people to the podcast. The Woods Hole connection comes in the third book, Tangled Lines,
Mhm.
where one of the undercurrents in that book is about the attachment that people have to their home place, whether it's this island or anywhere else, and how hard it is sometimes to go away. And so when Jo Bell goes to Woods Hole to study, then she has to think about what's happening back here on Hatteras Island. The other thing you mentioned, the audiobooks, that's been an interesting experience for me. Um, Not too very long ago, and I suppose, authors that can afford to do it still can, to get someone to narrate your book for an audiobook
Mhm.
is a very expensive proposition because that is a very important and unique skill set
Mhm.
that someone would have. We can't all be Morgan Freeman, I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
with wonderful, amazing voices, or Judy Dench or someone like that. So Amazon had given me the opportunity to do the audio through AI as a pilot. And so that's been a really interesting experience. And people who it gave me the opportunity to reach an audience that I might not have reached because a lot of people who are busy but are commuters either by plane or by in the car, particularly for an audiobook, um, that's how they are able to enjoy literature, enjoy reading, but it's through the audio. So I was really grateful for that, and that seems to have gone really well.
Mhm.
One other point about what you said, Em, is the characters. I'm not sure why or how this happened, but the compliments that I get and the comments that I get a lot on the books are about the character development and the dialogue. And the only thing I can say is that the dialogue really comes to me in my head. It's almost like I'm watching a movie in a scene and I'm
Mhm.
watching what the characters say and how they move and whether they've put their hands down or they're taking a sip of a drink or how that would look. And so then I write from that. And possibly that's why people feel connected. And I love it when people tell me that they connected with, in the first book, with the grandmother or with the mother or even with the father, because I do have guys that read my books,
Mhm.
not just for,
Mhm.
for women only. Um, and in this book, I think I take people to a new place, another new place, like in Tangled Lines, it was Woods Hole. So guess where we go this time for a couple of
Let me
chapters?
guess. Greenville.
No, well,
Oh,
we're there. We're there.
oh,
We,
okay.
we we go there because that's where she
Uh-huh.
lives. But
Okay.
we go to Pungo, Virginia.
Oh, I'd love to.
Okay.
Did you go to Pungo Pizza though? That's the
Well, no,
best.
we have not been. I love Pungo because everything there has Pungo in the name. You know,
Right.
Hmm.
Pungo Pizza, Pungo Auto Body,
Hmm.
Pungo Grocery Store. But we discovered it, like many people probably do on the Outer Banks, is the back way to Virginia Beach. And
Hmm.
I think it will just amaze readers because I do say in my author's notes that it is a real place. I didn't make it up.
Hmm.
That you can be that close to an area like Virginia Beach and be out in the country with absolutely gorgeous farms and
Yes.
horses and all the things that go along with that. It's really pretty startling when you see the sign, "Welcome to Virginia Beach," and you're in the middle of
Yep.
country.
Yeah. Yeah.
But part of it
Well,
takes place in Pungo.
okay. Well, then that of course means a trip to the Bee and the Biscuit.
Oh
The
yeah,
Bee
the
and
bean
Biscuit
biscuit
are
is good.
are very much in order
Right.
if you
Honestly,
can get in there.
right. Honestly, not to hijack your this is about you, but a little Walker story about Pungo. Our Caroline was born on May 28th. And Pungo, I don't think they do anymore. They used to have the big
Oh,
strawberry
the Strawberry
festival.
Festival.
I don't know
Yeah,
if they still do.
they have not been able to revive that over the last few
It
years.
was a huge, huge thing. And so we really wanted to go. And so the Sunday, she was born on Memorial Day that year. The Sunday before, here I was, literally 9 months pregnant, miserable with two little boys and Sam. And you have to park out in a field and walk into the downtown area. And there, all the strawberries were out. Anything you could make with strawberries. So honestly, every time I hear Pungo, my first thought, I can see those little cherub faces of my babies going and
Oh,
us going to the strawberry festival. But I was miserable.
Forgot about
I
that.
can imagine. That's a
Miserable.
great memory. And I just thought it would introduce my readers to another part of
It's a
this
cool place.
region that they probably wouldn't know about. If you're in a hurry to get to vacation and then home after vacation, you probably don't dilly-dally in Pungo, but it's a just a neat spot.
And the original Captain George's was there, right?
Pongo Ferry. Yeah,
The original
you
one.
know the Pongo Ferry
Mhm.
out there. I was gonna bring up the fact that the genre that you have done is very unique for Outer Banks authors. We've had so many people write, and I know you do a lot of appearances at different bookstores, not just here locally, but around the region, where they're all history, they're all fact based, they're all those types of things, where you've taken some of that and incorporated that into your writing, and then taking it into a different genre that makes you stand out. And a lot of the reaction, I guess, that you've gotten from readers, both locally and around the country and around the world, has really been like I'd say a breath of fresh air, if you will. Do you feel that way?
I think, well, I respect anybody that writes anything, and I think the area certainly lends. There is so much history here,
Hmm.
both
Right.
known and unknown, and being discovered all the time, and different aspects of it. That I completely understand why people who are interested in history would gravitate to that. I would also say that there seemed to be a lot of either true crime or,
Hmm. Yeah.
murder here, murder there. And I get that because when I read, I typically read, I think I mentioned this before, I typically read British police procedurals. I'm
Hmm.
not a big romance reader. Not that I don't like it, obviously, and I've read some. I always think of Bridget Jones' Diary, which is
That's one of my
the
favorites.
epitome of a rom-com. But I like I said, I don't know how or when the story came to me, and maybe it's because to be soppy about it, I had my own love story.
Yeah.
Reconnecting with someone who was part of my early teen years. My
Hmm.
first beach love, and I just took it from there. And I think the other thing is that we're living in a time and place where there's a lot of negativity for a lot of reasons. And I just wanted to put something in people's hands when they came here to the beach to to make them feel good, to have a nice experience. And if they weren't here, that when they were home, you said them in front of a fireplace in the winter, that it would either take them back to their beach
Hmm.
memories
Hmm.
or make them want to come and visit here,
Right, right.
promote the area as well. I think that um, it has helped a lot of people learn a few more things about the island. When I do signings up in Duck and Corolla, a lot of those folks don't come down to Hatteras Island, or they're thinking about it, and so the books help them see what's actually down here, because they're very, as you know, Sam, they're very every part of the Outer Banks is
Yes.
different.
Unique.
Very,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
very.
Very unique.
So um, I think there's that part of it as well. And I'm often reminded, my books really are a blend of fact in terms of some places are factual. Yes, there's a ferry that goes from Hatteras to Ocracoke. That's fact. There's a beach, there's a sound, these different things. But when I make up a place like Marcy's and then I have someone come at a book
Shrimp basket.
signing and want to know where they can find Marcy's because they hadn't been able to Google it,
Right.
that really makes me smile because
Mhm.
apparently it became very real to them. And it's
Hmm.
nice to be able to say, well, that's just kind of an amalgam of all of the restaurants, and you can get a good shrimp basket anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so don't panic, but you
That's
might just
right.
not
That's
find it
right.
at Marcy's.
That's one thing that we like to do with our travels over the years has been our favorite movies or TV shows, and I'm the one who goes into like, well, that's not the road that actually goes through there, and then you have to remind, we've experienced that with the Outer Banks TV show,
Oh,
having to
absolutely.
answer all those questions over the years, but then going other places and saying, oh, this is where such and such took place, this is where they shot that, or
Hmm.
trying to find a restaurant home. Summer Rental is one of our favorite movies. The John Candy movie. It was shot
Hmm.
down in Clearwater, Florida, and we stayed in St. John's Pass, which was the little town, and we found the house that was Beach Road, not Beach Lane, and the restaurant that was Sully's, all those different things. And I think that's something people try to do when they come here. And you just mentioned that they're trying to find a place. Marcy's doesn't exist, but it's just an amalgamation of
Hmm.
other places. Let's get into a couple of things about locally here because we're in kind of a period of change now in the local bookstore, the
Mhm.
local bookstore industry, and they've been such a vital part of your career now as a writer. We've seen one that's a great thing, and then sadly we've lost Gigi down in Buxton just a couple of months ago, and I know you really had a great relationship with her. Talk more about what she meant, not only to you personally, but to the Hatteras Island community as a whole.
Yeah, that's been tough. It's been a big blow to the island and to Buxton, to the Buxton Hatteras, the South End, but to everybody on the island. She was an amazing person, and my relationship with Gigi actually started when my parents moved here. My mom and Gigi were close. My mom, like you, Em, she read constantly. It's where I got my love for reading, I'm sure. And they got to be very good friends. And my mom was a journal keeper. And Gigi took a big interest in that and even helped at one point my mom was in some publication down here about writing journals, which was a very big deal to her. And it was because of Gigi's interest. So when I came on vacation, it was always a trip to the bookstore. I mean,
Mhm.
or even when it was not vacation, when I was here visiting mom, as she became more ill, but we would still go and visit the bookstore. So it was very natural when I started thinking about writing that I talked to her about it. And the thing that I liked about Gigi was she was very honest with me, because people probably come in there all the time. There are thousands of,
Mhm.
if
Yes.
not tens of thousands during the course of the summer of people that came in and out of that bookstore. To me, they came to the lighthouse to visit and or they came to the bookstore and visited one and then the other. She
Mm.
was that popular. And she was that interesting mix of a person who she was not only a phenomenal businesswoman, but she knew books. She knew every kind of book. Like you, Em, I'm not a romanticy person. I'm not a sci-fi person. But if you were, you could go in there and she could tell you what was happening in that
Mhm.
genre or what it didn't
Mhm.
matter. And that's extraordinary. But with me, when I went in and I said, I'm going to write a book, and I said, would you read it for me and tell me what you think? And she was honest. She said, I really don't have time. She said, but I'll tell you what I will do. She said, I'll read the first couple of pages and the last couple of pages, and I'll tell you if it's worthwhile. And she did. And then she ended up reading the whole thing. And she told me, she gave me the thumbs up. And
Aw.
not only did that give me encouragement, but then she connected me with all of the other booksellers here on the Outer Banks. Really great folks like Susan Sowen, Jamie Anderson, Chloe Roy, now who has the Downtown Books in Manio, Leslie Lanier in Ocracoke. These are really great people, and they're not a dime a dozen.
Mhm.
So
Right.
with Gigi's passing, um, it will be I don't want to say very interesting. It's just going to be a process to see if the bookstore can survive, because it takes that kind of special person
Yeah.
to do that. I know that her family, her brother and sister, because I've spoken to them, they want the bookstore to continue, but they're older and they don't live here. One's in Pennsylvania, one's in West Virginia, so it's not something they personally could
Mhm.
take over. And so I think while it may not be early this season, maybe by mid-season, or who knows, maybe by next year, but it's a loss for all of us. Tomorrow, there will be a celebration of life for her here in Buxton, and I wager to bet that the hall will not have enough seats for
No,
No, it won't. It
it
won't.
won't.
no.
So, but she leaves a wonderful legacy. I'm sure you've heard of her scholarship.
Hmm.
And I was part of the committee that worked on that, although Heather Jeanette from the Buxton Civic Association really did all the heavy lifting. And the Community Foundation has stepped up. It'll be housed there, which is absolutely where it
Yeah.
should be. So I suspect that it will not only meet its goals, but far surpass its goals. Because as people come down in the summer who maybe aren't on Facebook or haven't heard the news,
Mhm.
they're going to want to do something. She was such a big part of the community,
Yeah.
and what Cape Hatteras is to everybody, and certainly to Buxton and to the business community. So definitely just a very unexpected and very sad time.
Yeah, and I've got a story out there. Well, actually, I'll send everybody to islandfreepress.org. If you search Gigi Russell, you can find out more about the scholarship established by the Buxton Civic Association, which, and again, I mean, Gigi pushed literacy,
Hmm.
locally. It wasn't just about selling books. It was about getting kids and adults interested in reading, and not just local, but reading in general. And that was one thing. Her legacy on Hatteras Island itself will live on forever because of so many kids who took an interest in reading, and it has progressed throughout their adult lives for so many years.
Right, right.
And we all can only hope. Like I would go down, we never miss a day at the bookstore. Like that is a stop for us too. And I didn't she wouldn't know, hey, that's Emily Walker. She might have known Sam, but she always spoke with me and we did talk about books, and she never there could be 10 people in there and she could legit be talking to she had a way when I would go in there. You felt
Hmm.
like you were the only person. What can I do for you? What are you interested in? She knew, like you said, she did know. And then she'd move on to the other people. But just you would listen and you'd be like, wow, this she knows a lot. She had this way. I mean, I don't know. I probably have met her a handful of times in my life but I just it was going into that store is like going into a bookstore to me is magical, but it really was. And I guess what I wanted to say is to leave this earth and to leave that kind of a legacy and to have had your fingerprints on so many people's lives that you don't even know. It could have been someone who stopped in once in 1975 and you suggested a book that led them down a path. You have no idea. But the idea that you can leave that kind of a legacy on people should be inspiring to all of us.
Mhm.
And I think she inspired, and it was an inspiring person. So I think doing the scholarship, doing the different things the community has done, I think it's amazing. And I think it says a lot to her.
There's a book coming out too by, gosh, I think his name's Ray McAllister.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know Ray personally, but
Mhm.
we've met through email because I'm one of the people that's contributed. There's a book coming out in May of vignettes and thoughts from all of us who knew her, and there are dozens and dozens of
Uh,
people involved. And then, the portions of that book
We'll
will
go.
go to the scholarship fund as
mhm.
well. And I suspect that will be a big seller.
Yep. Yeah, Ray will be great. That will be a cool piece, especially Ray, because he is so written so much and has,
Hmm.
facilitated so many other writers here in the Outer Banks. So that will be a
We'll make
wonderful,
a note.
yeah,
That'd be
will be a
wonderful.
wonderful story. Yep. Oh, I'm sure I'll hear from Ray about it too. So he stays in
Um,
touch.
Before
Man.
we go, I want
Oh,
to ask. I know, well, I don't know if we're going, but I
yeah.
was going to say, I'm always curious as to what authors actually read. And you kind of mentioned you like the British crime type book. So, what are you reading right now?
I just read a book called it was Looking for a Boy Named Chester. I actually read it in one day yesterday, and this was from an author, Ford Worthy, who is a North Carolinian, who I met Tuesday evening down in Chocowinity. The
Oh,
Cypress Landing, the Ladies Club or Women's Club of Cypress Landing had an event where they had three authors, and we spoke and took questions and answers, and then we did a book signing. And the other two, we were all from very different genres. The one gentleman, Doug Briscotti, I think was his name, he said his genre is called sea adventure, which I never heard of. But his books are about kind of murder and mayhem and things on the seas, but a lot of it takes place off the Outer Banks.
Okay.
And then Ford Worthy this is a crazy story, but just to make a really long story short, he wrote a book for his father's 100th birthday, trying to find out whatever happened to a young boy that his father accompanied on a flight from San Francisco to Omaha at the end of World War II. And it was only a brief meeting, and he thought he knew the boy's name was Chester, and it led him to an amazing search through all kinds of different records and Facebook groups and people rallying around to see if they could identify who this young man actually had taken to see his grandmother in Omaha at the end of World War II. And so the book is I think it's called Looking for a Boy Named Chester. And the gentleman lives in Chapel Hill now, and his name's Ford Worthy. And it was really interesting. But that I just read it yesterday.
There you go. There you go.
All right, Jan. It is Building a Little Love. It is your latest novel. It is your latest production. And go ahead, because I see
we're going to say, where can we find it, right?
That's what I was getting ready to go. Where can you find it? And how can folks get it, whether they want to read it or whether they want to listen to it?
Okay. Well, this brings me to something I almost forgot. I have a new website. I'm so excited.
Hey, congratulations. That was a lot of work. I know. Websites
took
are
a while.
A lot.
It took a while, but I should have probably done it a couple of years ago, but we're working with a great company that worked with us at the motel, GCP from up the beach, Christian Ofsker. They're awesome. But now when you go to the website, which is JanDawsonAuthor.com. You have to put the author part in, because there is another Jan Dawson, but she writes about horseback riding, and that would not be me. So not in any way, shape.
Not yet. We do have the Corolla horses, my friend.
There we go. JanDawsonAuthor.com. On there, you can not only purchase the books, there are links to the bookstores if you want to purchase through the bookstores. I have blog posts. There are blips from each one. There are photos from activities. There's a schedule of events where I'll be doing signings if you want me to come and sign or you have books that you would like for me to sign. And so any of those ways you can get it. Obviously online, you can get a Kindle version as well as the audiobook. But I'm always very supportive of the local bookstores too. So awesome. That's fun.
Yeah, Emily doesn't realize that she's quoted right below Gigi in the press release that came out this week. So your review.
Oh,
yes.
I didn't realize that.
Yes.
Well, I loved it. I loved them. I'm excited for this one. And we keep saying this, but I think these books, I wanted to mention this earlier. These books that you write, I think they're great. Good reads, all that stuff. But I do think they're good book club books. There's a lot of conversations. And this new book talking about like the people coming, like it sounds like to me, when I read the first three and this one, it sounds the same. It's like an onion. There are multiple layers and you can kind of go as deep as you want. So I really, really want to get with you. I really, really want to sponsor or get an event at Trio or somewhere, and let's do a book club, because I think this would be, I really want to do that. So this summer's not, last summer flew by and I don't know what happened. This summer it's not. We're going to do it. So
okay,
I think it'd be great.
I'm not going to let you go.
Yes. I'm putting that on my big card too. Book club. This is my to-do list.
Jan Dawson, Hatteras Island author and friend of the show. Thank you so much for joining us again. And we are so excited to see where this next chapter, goes for you with Building a Little Love.
Thank you very much. Really enjoyed it. Take care.
Bye-bye. All right, and thanks to Sanctuary Vineyards with 3 unforgettable events during Taste of the Beach weekend this weekend, today, tomorrow, and Sunday. Kick things off tonight with Wine, Dine, and Dance, a high-energy tribute to line dancing Outer Banks style with dancing instruction and entertainment, plus barbecue, classic sides, and a glass of wine or beer. Grab your friends and hit the dance floor from 5 to 8. Then, tomorrow, Saturday, March 14th, It's Leprechaun Celebration from noon to 3. Enjoy live Celtic music, a traditional Irish lunch, and raise a glass with a green wine or beer to toast St. Patrick's Day. And the wrap-up of the weekend, Sunday, March 15th, with a paint and sip from noon to 2. Create your own wine and charcuterie-inspired masterpiece with local artist Sandy Tipton. Get your tickets now at sanctuaryvineyards.com, where you've got friends in Merlot places.
All right, and also want to say thanks to Miles Carpet Cleaning. Get those carpets, rugs, and upholstery clean. Spring cleaning season is here. And it's a time to get on the list with Miles Carpet Cleaning. You need to hurry because they're getting jammed up quick. Their $99 special plus can't be beat. Get 3 rooms and a hallway clean to perfection, including an orange scent carpet deodorizer and Scotch Guard for just $99 from Miles Carpet Cleaning. Robert Miles and his family will take care of you like you're one of the family. Forget the rest. Call the best, Miles Carpet Cleaning, at 252-207-6707. That's 252-207-6707. Running season is here. We got a lot of folks we know are running the Shamrock next weekend up in Virginia Beach. The spring, summer running series here on the Outer Banks about to kick off. We'll get the full schedule of that next week here on the show. For those of you who like to keep up with that stuff, we do have a couple of runs, though, here in the next month or so that are local.
Yeah, you've got the 2026 Running of the Leprechauns, 5K and 10K in Nags Head, Saturday, March 14th.
That's tomorrow. The Blackbeard's Revenge 100 Ultra, that is next weekend. They'll be running from Corolla to Buxton and back. Is that how it works? No, they go Corolla to Buxton. They don't go back.
No, they probably
is it?
do.
Is
it's
it
100.
It's 100? Well, that's 100. It's 100 miles from here to Frisco. You know that, right? So, anyway, that's next weekend. So be watching out for them out on the Beach Road and Highway 12.
You have the 2026 Coast Guard Marathon, Half Marathon, and 5K in Elizabeth City. That's April 10th to the 12th.
The Ocracoke Island Weekend Run Fest of the 5K, 10K, and Half Marathon on April 25th and 26th.
And then the Flying Pirate Half Marathon Weekend in Kill Devil Hills, April 25th and 26th.
So there is a lot happening, of course, all over the area. We will get that into next week's show. I'm going to get that calendar running again. But SamWalkerOBXNews.com. I got all the stuff there. The parade is this Sunday at 1. The weather looks like it's going to be good. Of course, now we're in spring break season with the college students and everybody else doing the spring break thing in a couple of weeks. And Easter, and before we know it, it's Memorial Day, and, we're in the high season. So, anyway.
All right.
All right. So, I hope everybody enjoyed the show today. We'll be back next week. Should be able to get on the normal Thursday drop schedule next week, I think.
Yeah, I have a meeting at work, and I have a meeting at
and I've got a game Wednesday night. So we'll figure it out. So
we'll be dropping at some point next week.
Yeah. So thanks for sticking with us and being patient for this week's show. So there you go. We of course want to say special thank you to our guest today, Jan Dawson, Hatteras Island author. Also, thanks to Miles Carpet Cleaning, Sanctuary Vineyards, and Caribbean Pools and Spas. Make sure you give us those likes and shares and follows, subscribes, and hit the bells and all your favorite podcast apps, the YouTubes, the Facebooks. The 5 stars, we want to hear from you. I know a lot of folks are going to probably have some response to this week's show. That'd be great. Want to get you involved as well. SamWalkerOBXNews@gmail.com. That's the email. The DMs on the social, seriously, I know I say it. It really makes it easier for us to talk about things on the show if you send us a direct message, because then we've got it's top of mind, it's easy to find, and it makes us think, okay, where can we go with something like that? So do that, okay? All right. We will see you next time on the Sam
and M
podcast. Bye.